Good evening, everyone! Welcome to my picnic. If you're new here, hi! My name is Carmi. It's so nice to meet you. And if you've come back, hi! I'm so pleased to see you again. Making YouTube videos can be as easy as simply setting up your phone and talking to the camera. The bond that develops directly through the immediate visuals of your face and the audience is stronger than people realize. However, revealing your face to the world is a form of vulnerability not everyone is apt to doing. Thankfully for us shyer folks, YouTube is a very accessible platform where you can post almost anything you want. Some artists like to bask in the glory, having no problem showing themselves in their truest forms, and some of us who are a little more camera shy prefer to have our art do all the talking. Literally. This is where the world of PNGtubers enters. Art netizens tend to be a little more familiar with the term Vtuber, but let me explain it for you anyway. Vtubers are digital proxies that take the place of real people with the use of art and rigging programs to replicate more accurate human movements and emotions.
想补想补
Vtubers tend to do a little better than PNGtubers due to their ability to have more human-like movements compared to a PNG's very flat, staccato gestures, but it really boils down to preference. And besides, with enough editing, you can make up for the lack of movement using your awesome art skills. I have a slight interest in becoming a Vtuber one day, but I'm honestly not all that tech-savvy. I may have basic HTML and CSS listed as one of my skills on my resume, but I'm actually really bad at technology. I did hack my 3DS on my own, if that means anything. Did you know that it's actually really easy to hack a 3DS? Vtubers tend to have more typical anime aesthetics, while PNGtubers gravitate to cartoon lovers. I'm personally not averse to either title. Of course, there are exceptions, but I'm talking generally here. If you look up Vtuber versus PNGtuber on your image search engine, you'll see some distinct visual differences. For Vtubers, this could be due to the sudden popularity of one particular Vtuber named 𝔄𝔯𝔓𝔓, a character designed by N. Morikura with a 3D model made by Tomitake. More often than not, you'll see Vtubers with 2D avatars, but leading from 𝔄𝔯𝔓𝔓's example, 3D avatars are pretty common as well. PNGtubers are often seen from commentary YouTubers. They'd be static images, of course, but they'd often have separate images to express a wide range of emotions. I remember my earliest interaction with this type of content was from My Little Pony review channels, which had many horse-famous YouTubers portray themselves using their pony sona. So, even though the concept of a virtual avatar has been conceptualized for many decades now, in a way, PNGtubers predate Vtubers by a couple of years or so. While I was doing my research for this script, the popularity between the two could be seen from the fact that I got a recommended definition for Vtuber, while I had to type the word definition for a very frank and short description on the word of PNGtuber. The second result was from the Urban Dictionary. So pick your poison. It's really up to you on how you want to portray yourself as at the end of the day. Regardless, there is one thing that unites both PNGtubers and Vtubers: artists. Without artists, none of this would be happening, so don't forget about us in this crazy world of digital avatars. So, what about my art persona? In the last episode of my rebranding adventure, I redesigned my art persona and the reception was great, but that will be all for naught without character sprites, so let's start cooking. Heisei Retro is a Japanese aesthetic that focuses on nostalgia for the Heisei era, emphasizing trends from the 90s and 2000s in Japan. My OCs from Devil's Kiss are set during the pivotal years of the Heisei period. However, the Heisei era started in the late 1980s with the death of Emperor Hirohito and the ascension of his son, Emperor Akihito. This period was extremely significant for Japan, as the last era, the Showa era, which was during World War II, proved to be extremely troubling for Japan and surrounding nations. The name Heisei translates to achieving peace and was chosen to reflect the country's aspirations for stability and harmony. Throughout Heisei, Japan experienced various drastic changes, including the notorious economic bubble burst and sudden cultural shifts. It saw the emergence of a vibrant pop culture scene that began influencing much of the world by the 2000s. The Heisei era concluded with Emperor Akihito's abdication, marking the end of an era and the beginning of a very recent Reiwa era, which started in 2019. How exciting it is for me to witness this transformation. It's a first for many zillennials like myself. Let's hope for more peace, progress, and prosperity for Japan in this era. Recently, an aesthetic called Heisei Retro has been spread by people who grew up in this era, namely millennials and older Gen Z. Younger Gen Z and Gen Alpha harbor similar interests in this cultural era, just as some millennials and Gen Z had an affinity for the 1980s a few years back. Products such as flip phones, Tamagotchis, tube TVs, radios, and disposable cameras are making a comeback as many long to go back to what they viewed as a simpler time. Of course, many children of this era were lucky enough not to see the many hardships that happened in this era, but this is pretty common for people experiencing nostalgia. It can be such a dangerous emotion sometimes. For this video, I'm planning on using Heisei Retro imagery to create a spring outfit for Carmi. For this outfit, I wanted to be consistent with the style of clothing I had designed for Carmi in my first rebranding video, while still retaining similarities to the original commentary sprite. I was rather worried that I was straying too far from my favorite color, pink. It's not that I wouldn't have a fun time basing my channel solely on red, green, and brown, but pink feels most right to me. If there's an item I really want to buy, I'll wait until a pink version of it is released. I still sort of regret not having enough patience for the pink version of the Nintendo Switch release, but Animal Crossing was coming out soon, and playing that game was my #1 priority. Speaking of Animal Crossing, a lot of design elements in old Carmi were inspired by the villager characters. The tired eyes, the squished chibi-like body, and the button nose, all Animal Crossing inspired. Another inspo for the original Carmi design was the titular characters from Astro Boy and other Tezuka works. The new Carmi looks like a much more mature version of this previous design, but I kept a lot of these elements as it just wouldn't be Carmi without them. Think Astro Boy versus Pluto. We're gonna keep the Little Red Riding Hood steamboat running, but we're doing it in pink this time. The best color. One way to ensure that your outfits are balanced in real life and in character design is to accessorize. I usually use necklaces when the main part of the outfit looks too dull. Of course, you shouldn't completely depend on accessories to further enhance your base clothing. It's best to plan accessories in combination with the outfit. If the outfit is not good enough at the end of the design process, you can always make changes. But when you add things haphazardly at the end of the design process, people can usually tell. I added a ribbon choker with long tassels to make this balance, while also referencing how some farmers accessorize some sheep in their flock with bows. I've been looking at a lot of necklaces lately because even though my clothes have been well planned, I always feel like something is missing. My neck feels too empty. The hair accessories will change to match the pink and light green color palette as well. So I'll use a pear and this weird but cute apple with a pink to green gradient. I have no idea if this thing is real or genetically modified because I've definitely seen pink apples and green apples obviously exist, but I'm not going to rule out the possibility that this thing is just a cool looking edited photo. To enhance clarity, I'm refining the butterfly design in Carmi's hair. Originally, they were intentionally ambiguous, resembling flowers during stillness and transforming into fluttering butterflies with movement. This refers to how flies like to hang out and annoy farm animals, but a little less gross and annoying. If you live in an area with a lot of greenery and like to wear perfume, you've probably experienced being hoarded with bugs who like sweet-smelling things. While I still love this dual nature, as it makes Carmi more animalistic, I'm adding subtle definitions to make the butterfly's form more readily apparent while still keeping them simplified so that their wings could be still mistaken for petals. For this outfit, I was mostly inspired by the girlish style of stationery cards released during the Heisei era. Many of these cards feature a 4-leaf clover motif that I just adore, so I wanted to incorporate that as a main symbol in this outfit. I also used another 4-leaf clover as a hair clip to stabilize both the symbols and the color palette of the outfit. Designing effective character sprites can present a unique set of challenges to artists, but creating them is a fundamental skill in not only the world of PNGtubers, but also in game development and digital art. Visual novels and RPGs inspired most of the character sprites in this video, and they've been a great source of inspiration for my interest in storytelling since my kinder years. I'm going to draw 4 poses with 2 to 3 facial expressions each, which will add up to about 12 character sprites. Maybe I'll make more in the future, maybe I won't. But the expressions I chose matched best with both the type of content I make and the tone of voice in my scripts. I think most people assume that they need to make extreme poses and expressions, but if you're a PNGtuber, this can be discombobulating to watch for your audience. Don't underestimate the importance of subtle emotions. That is, unless you're going for discombobulation.
Discombobulate.
Extreme poses should be used sparingly so that when you do use them, their effect will be enhanced. But with where this channel is going right now, I'm not too worried about being extreme. What's most important is to match emotions that would best fit you or your character, so just have fun with it. This pose is admittedly a bit too cartoon reviewer-esque, but I feel like I need this. Think of it as a homage. Please don't unsubscribe. I swear I'll try not to be pretentious. But I feel like if you're a commentary YouTuber that represents themselves with a little cartoon guy, you're gonna hit one of these poses every once in a while. I guess a real homage is if I drew Carmi crossing their arms, but my hands couldn't bear to draw it. The expressions for the inquisitive pose include excitement, advisory, and smug. Even though one of my many flaws is that I probably complain too much, I'd like to think that I'm more of a positive than negative person at the end of the day. It's important to have a serious side, but I think it'll do you good to be positive every once in a while. So, I've made a fawning pose to remedy a tiny bit of the negativity in this world, especially since we know that the art community can have so much of it. Ironically, when I was a teenager, I remember being a very angry person. Angry at the circumstances life afforded me, angry at the world for all the pain in it, and angry at how I'd been treated thus far in my very short lifespan. And sure, I still get angry at those things sometimes, but more often than not, trying to be a happy person for my own benefit has awarded me so much more in 1 year than being angry has for over a decade. I know it's easier said than done, but just try your best to put yourself first while remembering your morals along the way. Carmi needs a little more time to learn this fully, and honestly, so do I, but this ideology is still one of their core values. The expressions for the fawning pose include assurance, enamored, and pleased. The nervous pose has the least amount of expressions attached to it, but I'm hoping I won't need to use it too much anyway. The pose will likely be used when I'm embarrassed about something, unsure of something, or overall a bit dumbfounded about the information I may be giving out in the video. I may be graduating soon, but that doesn't mean I know everything about art, which is exciting for me in the long run because I love to learn about new things. The expressions for the nervous pose include flustered and perplexed. Thank you for joining me on this picnic, and thank you for watching until the end of my video. I am so grateful for the recent support for my latest Carmi Bunny rebrand video, and I hope you'll continue to support me further in future videos and art projects. Let me know what you think of my new character sprites, and tell me what expressions you decided to draw your characters in. Please support me by subscribing and clicking the notification bell for updates on me and my work. Bye bye!